YouTube, welcome in. It is finally time now for episode 10 of the XS Show, aka X's Squad Talk Show. I'm X, here with Austin
How's it going?
and RoCkstar.
What up, everybody?
And it is the catch up episode. Um, so let's start off with Austin's question. And I'll let you even say it yourself, sir.
All right, so it's been a debate for years over who is the greatest wrestler turned actor. I wanted to flip the script a bit. There's so many actors that have gone on, or wrestlers that have gone on to have great careers in Hollywood, but who is someone that started in Hollywood, started in TV, an actor that you think, if their career had gone differently, would have been a great pro wrestler?
It's a great question. I'm actually going to go first on this one. Um, I want to go with. I'm trying to think outside the box because obviously we don't want people like Nathan Jones, who was a wrestler, or Mr. Arrow, who ended up becoming a wrestler.
Stephen Amell.
Thank you. I'm going to go with Michael J. White or Jai White, however you want to pronounce his middle name, Mr. Spawn. Because he has the look, he has the build, he is charismatic when he needs to be, and he already has like the MMA background, the martial arts background, so he already knows what he's doing to begin with. And I just think like seeing him in things like Exit Wounds and Spawn, and I'm sure there's other movies I've seen him in. Was he in the one with Jet Li? I want to say he was, but I don't know for sure. Um, but yeah, he has, like I said, he has the aura. Like he could be a professional wrestler, and he could have been a world champion.
Yeah, legit badass Michael J. White. That man, the fact that he did not become so much bigger of a name in Hollywood always bothered me because holy crap, he's always been so good in everything he's done.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can agree with that. For my answer, I actually have two answers because everybody knows that a wrestler has to have more than one aspect that is, great about them. So my first pick is going to be Michael Clark Duncan. He played in the Green Mile, huge, massive. Imagine him, Brock Lesnar type body build. He would have been an amazing wrestler as far as it went if he would have, ever decided to pursue that part of his career. Just he would have been such a powerhouse. So as far as my answer for physical aspect, I would have picked, I would say Michael Clark Duncan.
Also, Michael Clark Duncan
For
is a great actor, so he could have done pretty much any storyline that Vince or Paul gave to him.
I'm basically imagining his take on Kingpin as a wrestler. That would have been
right.
just perfect.
And my second answer for this one, Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise, he was an amazing actor. Think of this. He went through and transformed his body for the Mission Impossible role to get in fit physique shape for that, as well as any other roles he adapted to. And as we all know, he is a crazy motherfucker. Anything that any wrestling promotion would have said, hey, we need you to go out there with this dead chicken, swing it around the ring, and then throw it at your opponent, he would have jumped on that and he would have sold every bit of it. So I'm saying Tom Cruise. I'm sure both of those answers are unexpected by anybody that's listening, but that's my answer.
I kind of love Tom Cruise. Man does his own stunts. He'd be a great cult leader.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. I mean, he already is a cult leader, but that's beside the point.
That's the joke. Uh, those are great answers all around. I like every one of those. Mine, I have to go with one that I'm I'm kind of surprised nobody thought of, but this doesn't seem to be a super common one when I've looked at people's answers to this question.
Yeah.
I have to go with former Los Angeles Ram, Terry Crews. Well, I think he was the St. Louis Ram.
I thought you were going to say Dolph Lundgren for a second.
Terry Crews, the man, everything that he's done from the more serious, menacing roles he's done excellently. He can play unhinged. He can play super charismatic and goofy incredibly well. Plus, he's got the physicality. The man looks like a big chocolate Adonis. Tell me he wouldn't slot in perfectly as a member of the New Day, either as a permanent member or just for a short stint with them. The man, I think he could have just been absolutely massive. He had the size, he had the charisma. I think he would have had a great career in wrestling.
Oh, I agree
That is a
100%.
great answer.
Absolutely a great answer. I thought about him, but I just thought he was too
But
funny.
imagine this: Terry Crews and R-Truth as a tag team. I mean,
See, I actually
that's
Oh,
I
money.
I might be able to do you one better. Terry Crews and Titus O'Neil.
And oh yeah, Terry Crews and Titus O'Neil. Yeah, that would have been good, and that would have been more when Terry was in his prime as far as popularity period. So
Yeah,
mhm.
and I mean they both have basically the same build, anyways. So that would have been just a massive team to try to take down.
right,
All right, what a great answers all around, though. I gotta say,
I guess we're on to me now for my
in my
question. I think.
opinion, though, before we get to your question, I think you had the most shocking answers, um, especially with Tom Cruise.
Yeah, but then once you think about it, it definitely is like, holy
Oh yeah, it makes
shit,
sense.
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely makes sense. Um, yeah, let's go on to Rockstar now with his topic question.
All right. I'm since we are, just a week away from the draft, I decided to go with football question this week, and that question is, in your opinion, what was the worst trade in NFL history? And
I'll
whoever's
actually
going to go first.
I'll actually go first again. Mostly because I know Rockstar doesn't want to go first on the main event. So I don't want to have Austin go first twice in a row. So I'll go
You
first
went. You
twice in
went
a row.
first. You went first. You went first. What?
Exactly. I'm going first again. Um, so the 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 consensus is Herschel Walker, but I'm gonna go elsewhere. I'm gonna go to the turn of the millennium and know that the Saints traded to the Washington Redskins for a running back. The Saints gave up 6 draft picks in 1999. All 6 of their 1999 draft picks, plus their first and third round draft picks in 2000 for Ricky Williams. Now, the draft picks didn't lead to anybody, any superstars or household names or anything like that. But I mean, if you trade all of that away for one person, you better have at least a 500 season. They went 3-13 in 1999. The coach got fired, and I mean, Ricky Williams, he had okay seasons. He had 2 1,000-yard rushing seasons for the Saints, but nowhere near what he did in Miami, and definitely not worth 8 draft picks.
I think it's telling that the two big things that we remember most about Ricky Williams is that they gave up literally their entire draft to get him, and also that photo with him in like the bridal gown, the photo shoot he did with the head coach. Those are the two things I remember about Ricky Williams. And he was a
I
good player,
was
don't get me wrong, but man, that was putting all your eggs in one basket and then tripping down the stairs.
it to me. I think that he was memorable for three things: was the you know overrated in the draft, as you mentioned, the picture, and thirdly, his love of marijuana. Because man, that got him in some trouble in Miami.
I feel like there was
Yeah.
a receiver in Cleveland who was more known for his love of marijuana.
Was he the one that it was stay off of the weed? Oh man. Yeah, that's a great pick. Mine also has to do with the draft. And it has to be the San Francisco 49ers because I love to throw some shade at my division rivals. Trading the kitchen sink and everything else to move up to draft Trey Lance. It's a fairly recent one, but holy crap, that trade set them back a while. It's looked at even worse when you consider that the 12th overall pick that they had in that draft to start with turned into Micah Parsons. The other picks that they traded away turned into Jalen Waddle and Cole Strange. These are all guys that have like really excelled on their teams. And I say that if the 49ers hadn't bumbled their way into Brock Purdy the next year, I think there's a very good chance that John Lynch definitely loses his job and Kyle Shanahan might have lost his too. Um, but they are so incredibly lucky that Brock Purdy came along as Mr. Irrelevant and saved them from really, I think, crashing and burning and potentially having to go into full rebuild mode.
I want to say I think that was 2 years later, though. I don't know for sure.
I think you're right. It was 2 years. I know it was shortly thereafter.
Well, definitely not a long time. They gave up on Trey Lance way too quickly, though.
I agree. But it was unfortunate that he just couldn't stay healthy,
Yeah,
which is not his fault at all. But it's the best ability is always going to be availability.
agreed.
Definitely, uh, definitely great answers. And I mean, I gave it some thought over the last couple of weeks that I've been researching, and of course, like X had said,
That's
Herschel
why I covered
Walker
you.
stands out in everybody's. It stands out in everybody's mind as the worst. So I decided to go away from that one. Um, but for me, I would have to say, in my opinion, would be back in 2022, whenever Russell Wilson came to the Broncos. Denver gave up Noah Fant, Drew Lock, and I 5 draft picks, 2 first round, 2 second round picks for Russell Wilson. And 2 seasons later, well, he moved on. I think that's when he moved to,
Pittsburgh.
unfortunately, Pittsburgh, which was he was there, he was there.
He was
But
serviceable.
still, yeah, all that Denver gave up to pick him up was just, to me, a huge bust.
See, when I first heard about that trade, though, I didn't realize the draft picks. I was like, oh, Drew Lock and Noah Fant for Russell Wilson. That's not bad. Like that's a pretty good trade because Drew Lock has been and always will be terrible. Noah Fant is just below average for a tight end. I didn't realize all those draft picks though. So
I think it's also important to remember that at the time, we all thought this was going to be a solid move for Denver. Um, the only person around that asked the question of what if Russell Wilson kind of sucks was Tom Grossi, and credit to Grossi. But no, yeah, I don't think any of us anticipated just how bad he was going to be, and the fact that Denver went from, I think, number one in the league when it came to dead cap money to I think one of the last two or three teams over the course of like one week when Russ finally fell off. I think really tells the whole story.
Yeah, I wasn't even a part of the Grossi posse at the time, so I knew nothing about anybody saying that. Oh, what if? All right,
Yeah, I had also thought about mentioning the RG3 as well, going to the Redskins 10 years before what I had mentioned back in 2012, because I was a huge RG3 fan, was really hyped, and yeah, what a disappointment that was.
what trade would that have been? Because they drafted him.
RG3 went to the Redskins. He was traded. Washington traded 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick, and more to the Rams to move to the number 2 draft pick to pick up RG3. So
Ooh,
technically, he was acquired through the
yeah,
draft
okay.
via that spot in the trades.
Yeah, and then later on in the same draft, they drafted Kirk Cousins.
Yeah,
It didn't work for the Redskins back in the day. It didn't work for the Browns this past season with Shadur and Dylan Gabriel. So, hey, NFL,
Also,
stop drafting 2 quarterbacks in the same draft.
I'd just like to say that trade didn't work out for the Rams either. I don't think we did anything with those picks.
yeah, that was the reason why I sort of, I looked at it, thought about it, and was like, nah, yeah, I think we'll move away from that one.
Yeah, if we managed one Pro Bowler, it would have been worth it.
All right, and before we get on to the main event, Rockstar wanted to say a few things about WrestleMania next week, or ask a few questions about WrestleMania next week. Actually, I have one question first before you get onto yours. What match are you guys most looking forward to next weekend for WrestleMania?
Huh. All right, on the spot question. I don't know. For me, I think I'm definitely more looking forward to the CM Punk match as opposed to the Cody Rhodes match. Just because the way that they've been building Punk and McIntyre has been it. Well, it is McIntyre, right? My brain has just went no.
It's Punk and Roman.
Yeah, Punk and Roman. Yeah. Sorry, I had a brain fart on that, but no. The way that I'm looking forward to that. I'm hoping CM Punk kicks Roman's ass, keeps the title. Roman's still not over with me. He was at one point, but no.
Punk isn't as over with
Promos
me
have
as he
been
used
great.
to be like decade ago.
Yeah, Unk ain't quite got it. I mean, he's still entertaining, but
Yeah.
the times it feels like in a lot of ways have passed him by. Um, I got to go with for a while there. It was Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams because that is going to be a work rate classic. Those two are going to put on an absolute banger. I am certain, but I cannot like not be hyped for the absolute carnage that's going to be the 6-pack ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. I love ladder matches. Multi-man ladder matches at Mania have always been bangers, and I am looking forward to seeing Javon Evans die. And I like Javon Evans, but let's face it, he's going to die.
Yeah.
Probably JD McDonough too.
Probably.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think that the two non-matches, as far as things that are going to take place that I'm looking forward to, is the Demon Finn Balor returning. That is going to be great. And second, whatever shenanigans Danhausen is up to, because I'm loving Danhausen in WWE, and the interaction that he's had with any of the wrestlers has been great, especially messing with the tag match last week whenever he cursed the referee. That was amazing, played off. I've been so
Absolutely.
impressed by it. I wish AEW would have used Danhausen that way.
See,
He
me and the better half have actually started like we knew really nothing about Danhausen, but we are definitely starting to become Fanhausens. Um, he's definitely entertaining and yeah, yeah, he's worth watching. What were you about to say, Austin?
I was I was gonna say he's won more than 3 new fans just on this podcast alone because he just reminds me of like how silly it can be to love wrestling and how silly but still fun and entertaining it can be. Reminds me of being a kid and watching it and just being entertained, grinning from ear to ear. He's got the spirit of those early days for me, and I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
he's kind of like the Coco Beware.
he's like
Yeah,
Papa
bird
Shango
man.
meets our truth.
Mm-hmm.
But my answer would be the match I'm actually looking most forward to. The latter match would be number two. But the match I'm actually looking most forward to is Obafemi and Brock Lesnar because those are two
Yeah,
huge men who are going to be putting on a wrestling classic. The match I'm actually looking least forward to. I'm sorry, Austin. It's Sami Zayn and Trick Williams. I really just do not care about that storyline, that match at all.
I just hope that Sammy snaps and takes Trick out, and we see the heel character that they were teasing for Sammy. Except I hope that we actually see that character unleashed.
You know, if
Yeah.
Sammy does fully turn heel, I want it to be because my favorite current wrestler, Kevin Owens, makes his return.
See, if we got the two
Ooh,
of them as heels paired together again, or even opposed at each other, but the script flipped and Owens as the face and Sammy as the heel, but actually give it the more serious like edge to it compared to just the goofiness when they were paired together back in the day. That would be awesome. I do agree that this does need to build to something. I think it's going to be a work rate classic, but you need more than work rate for it to be a compelling story and for it to be a good match in the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Which of the women's matches are you most looking forward to?
Not the tag team women's match. I'll tell you that much. Um, I kind of want to say AJ and Becky. I think that might be like the best women's match of the weekend. I don't care about Jade, so I'm obviously going for Rhea there. The other world title match, I don't really care about that one as much either. But yeah, the I got to say Becky versus AJ Lee, just two great wrestlers. As much as AJ is a little rusty, um, two great women's wrestlers going one on one on the biggest stage.
Yeah, see, for
Yeah.
me, in my opinion, it's the Rhea and Jade match because, like you said, with the Brock and Oba, I see that as being sort of the two female titans colliding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to go with Liv Morgan versus Stephanie Vacquer. Um, if for no other reason than I would not blame Liv for wanting to work a little stiff because I wonder if her goose egg's gone down because holy crap, that was brutal.
I saw somebody make a meme out of
Yeah.
it and put JD McDonough's face there.
Yeah. Joe, JD McDonough is the one that made that post.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's the one that had tweeted that or whatever. Yeah.
I
That's
love that
even
he's
better.
in on it and is able to joke about it, looking like a Funko Pop.
Yeah, Lord Farquaad.
Yeah, I am hoping that, as CM Punk said on his promo this past week, that Pat McAfee has a receipt coming. I'm hoping we see that receipt because if a wrestler says you got a receipt, that's not a lightly taken. No, he's gonna get a good one in on McAfee.
That was Cody, not CM Punk.
No, CM Punk during his pipe bomb promo stated the receipt coming to
Okay, yeah,
McAfee.
yeah, yeah. They both said it this past week, but
Okay.
recency bias. I remember Cody saying it more recently.
Also, I question the logic in having McAfee, who's very clearly set up as the heel in this situation, be the one to give you 25% off Mania tickets.
Or no, it was Dodge Ram or whatever.
Yeah.
But that makes me think, was this a whole marketing ploy all along? Because that's a great way to try to boost sales. This could have been thought of 2 months ago.
And it makes it even more of me going against Cody Rhodes because I haven't been a fan of Cody Rhodes since he left WWE the first time. But let's get on to the main event here of this episode, episode 10. Don't worry, we are not Ty Dillinger or Sean Spears. But let's get on to it. The main event of this episode is create a new WWE stable with very loose rules, 3, 4, 5 people, current in WWE, AEW, TNA, whatever, NXT. But I will let Austin give his answer first, rather.
Alrighty, so my faction, I'm going with a work rate faction to kind of borrow from what I was saying about the Trick Williams Sami Zayn match at Mania. I love work rate. I love technical wrestling. Seeing people put on an absolute clinic in the ring, and so that is what my faction is based entirely around. I have named them the Technicians. Pretty generic, but gets the point across really strongly. I've got a leader, a heavy, a tag team, and a woman in the faction. So for the leader, I'm going with a guy that I'm not sure if a lot of people know is currently employed by WWE, but he is currently a coach and I think GM for Evolve, which is owned by WWE. I'm going with Timothy Thatcher. Timothy Thatcher, he's got the bona fides, he's got the gravitas behind him. Like that's a guy that you look at and say that man could fold me, or that man could fold my clothes with me still in them.
Oh yeah.
And I think he's got just the presence to be the leader of this faction and sort of work as the coach for this team. For the heavy, I got to go with for my money, one of the best technical wrestlers in WWE right now that doesn't get recognized as such. I got to go with Ilya Dragunov. That man's got the intensity, he's got the ferocity, and he's got the technical prowess to just absolutely demolish anybody that you put him in the ring with. And my idea is that's the guy that you can have going for a U.S. title, an Intercontinental title, or even the World title, while staying within the faction, wanting to bring that gold to the faction itself. For the tag team, putting a couple guys together. I've got Chad Gable. I don't think there's much argument there. He's the veteran, he's the steady hand, and again, technically one of the most gifted guys in WWE. And I'm going with a young gun to pair him with. I'm going with Charlie Dempsey out of NXT. Mr. Again, another Mr. Technical. He wrestles that British strong style. Um, Always puts on good matches, and I think that's somebody that
Even
you could
Regal's
kind of
son.
have. Yeah, that's Regal's son, man. It's in his blood, literally. But also, I think that would be a good opportunity to pair him with that veteran talent in Chad Gable, and for Gable to sort of like take him under his wing and actually like sort of guide him onto the main roster, and be a good way to introduce him as a potential mid-carder or main eventer as time goes on. And for the woman, just got to throw one in there. I went with Julia. Julia, I know she's a champion right now, but she just feels so listless right now in WWE. They
Motionless.
signed her and Stephanie at the same time, brought them in through NXT at the same time, and then brought them up at the same time. And I think it's pretty clear to see who's the one that's getting more shine and getting more success out of the two of them. And it's a shame because no shade at Stephanie, but Julia's a phenomenal wrestler. Her promo ability still needs a little bit of work, but the way that she doesn't even need to cut a promo, she can tell a story in the ring without even needing to say a word. Um, I think that she'd be great in that faction as basically just the woman they unleash at anybody that crosses their path. Uh, but that is my faction, the Technicians. It's a bunch of guys that you've got a mix of up and comers and veterans, and it's people that I think could really show that side of wrestling in a really entertaining way.
Sounds like a pretty good faction, actually.
Uh,
For Julia, I
Pretty
think
solid.
her not being able to make promos is why they tried to team her up with Kiana James. But I mean, Kiana James should just stick at being a manager. Her in ring is, bleh. But Charlie Dempsey, I didn't even think of that guy.
Hmm. That guy's got future
So
star written all over
yeah,
him for me.
yeah, I can definitely see him being mid card champion for a long run or numerous runs. I don't know if he quite has what it takes to be a world champion. I think he would need to bulk up some or them really push the technical submission wrestling side that he can, put on and have that be his whole thing going through. But
Make
then
him
you're
the new
sort
Bret
of
Hart.
leaning back into, yeah, possibly.
Yeah, you got to make sure that he's able to be his own character and not just Regal's son.
Hmm.
Or lean on Regal's son even more.
Very true.
I don't know.
He's a nepo baby that can fold you into a pretzel.
That he can. So can Thatcher. I absolutely forgot Thatcher was even employed by WWE.
Lose the sense of the
Yeah,
word.
because after he left WWE, he had wrestled a couple matches with AEW, and then he had wrestled some on the Indies, and then I think he retired as a wrestler and became a trainer with NXT down in Florida or WWE, whichever.
Yeah, and that's why I think the leader role works really well for him because he can mostly do the talking, but he can like throw down when he needs to from time to time. And also, he's just the kind of guy you see him across the bar and you just think that man's thinking of how to beat my ass right now, and I don't think I could
Absolutely.
stop him.
Yeah, him and Tommaso Ciampa were a terrifying tag team. The tag team itself didn't really make
Hmm.
sense, but it also was
The tag team
terrifying.
was literally
Would you
just
have
two
them
hard
as a face
bastards.
or a heel? Face or heel faction? Which side would your faction side on?
Oh, heels. They're 100% heels through and through. I think a lot of elements for them borrow from like Imperium, where it comes to like the old school. The mat is sacred. This is a technical art, not a ballet or whatever. I think they lean much more into heel than they do into face. But at the same time, I could see them at various points like wanting to uphold the integrity of the art and like I could see them not standing for cheating and stuff like that. So I could see him going either way as time goes on.
More of a tweener.
Yeah,
What do you got for us, Rockstar?
yeah. Uh, all right. Well, this was very difficult because I I love factions. So for me to go through and try to put one together was tough. But we'll start off. For me, my tag team in the faction. I am going to have to steal one of Austin's answers. He had said Ilya Dragunov, and I think if you would tagged him, oh, sorry. First off, the faction name would be the International Icons
Ooh,
because it would be made up of wrestlers. It would sort of be kind of like the League of Nations, I guess, is what it was with
yeah,
Wade Barrett and Claudio and
Russo.
them. But with this, Ilya
Notorious piece of
Dragunov
shit,
would be part of
all
the
the old
tag team. Yeah. Uh Ilya Dragunov, and I would have him and Pete Dunne be my tag team. To me, they would remind me kind of like the Rockers were back in the day. They would be that fast, hard hitting, quick, and plus Pete Dunne, submission technician and high flyer, Dragunov speed and high flyer and technical. Those two I feel would be a great tag team for the faction. Moving on to the women's, I would actually pick Maxine Dupree. The way that they've evolved her character over the last several months, I definitely love that push. I think that, they could build her. She would be at least a contender in the faction, to keep her in the women's division high so that way she could continue to evolve the way that she has. I've really appreciated that, and I feel she's very underrated. For my mid card wrestler, I think I would actually put someone like Austin Theory. Got to represent America here. He is an amazing wrestler. Not really digging the vision part of it, but that wasn't really digging the McMahon bitch boy part of it either. But he's been underutilized, and I feel that he would be a great, intercontinental or U.S. champion to go with the faction and represent the good old U.S. of A. And then lastly, for my main eventer, my title holder, my more than likely leader of the faction, Obafemi. Gotta represent, I think he's from South Africa. Um, he is going to be one of the next big stars. There is no denying it. One of his first big main matches is going to be against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. That and yeah, his little strut that he's got going, he just oozes charisma, oozes what would be a powerhouse as a leader for the faction, and that would be my international icons.
So I
That's
really
awesome.
like
That
your
sounds
tag team.
fantastic.
Oh, you said it was just fantastic.
Yeah.
I really like your tag team, although I would compare them to the British Bulldogs more than the Rockers, where Ilya Dragunov would be Davey Boy Smith, and Pete Dunne would be more Dynamite Kid.
Yeah, yeah, just because that would have more of the technical aspect. Yeah,
Yeah,
the Rockers were more just a high flyer, hard hitting.
yeah, yeah. They were more high flying. Um, but yeah, I'll tell. All in all, very good factions from both of you. Um, I noticed that Alpha Academy has somebody in each of yours, being Chad Gable and Maxine Dupree. I, however, did
Are
not
you
grab.
picking Otis?
I didn't grab anybody from Alpha Academy. Actually, only I think one of my people was actually in a faction to begin with, or ever that I can remember. Um, but my faction is going to be the Forgotten, and it's going to be kind of like a oh, what was that Mustafa Ali faction? Forgot the name.
Oh, the Retribution.
Yeah, Retribution, like a Retribution or an NWO or Nexus. Um, and they're definitely a heel. And the tag team would be Noam Dar and Andre Chase. Uh, Andre Chase from Chase U. He has his moments where I'm like, okay, his look is so different that I'm kind of thrown off. But his ability in the ring, same thing with Noam Dar. Noam Dar, I think that most people only remember him because of the Alicia Fox thing, but his in-ring ability is above most. Same thing with Andre Chase. His in-ring ability is above average. So I think they would be a great tag team. Obviously, the whole gimmick of both of them would have to change because, like I said, it's
I was
more
going
of
to say,
a
I was hoping you were
retribution.
going to repackage Andre Chase.
Oh yeah, repackaging all of them because it's more like a retribution thing where like they're like, "Oh, you forgot about us. Remember who we are now." Um, I'm gonna go different than you guys though because I only have 4 people. The woman in the Forgotten is somebody who I keep forgetting is employed by WWE. I get it, she's injured, but she hasn't been used correctly anyways. Zoe Stock. Zoe Stock, I think she could have been. Her and Shayna Baszler, don't think were used correctly from the get go. But I think Zoe Stock could be the future of WWE. She has a little bit of charisma. She has great in ring ability. She just hasn't been saddled up with the right people or the right gimmick. And the leader of the Forgotten is the person who gets forgotten the most. Apollo Crews. Because he has the athleticism. He has the strength. He has the charisma when it's allowed. Like his Nigerian gimmick. Yeah, it was a little silly because we knew he didn't have that accent. But he still had the charisma for that gimmick to actually work. And again, he like a power bomb and then a standing moonsault is his finishing move. Who can do power, athleticism all together right all at once? Like there's a reason. There's a reason they're called the Forgotten because they should not be forgotten, and they need to come. They need to come out for revenge.
Yeah, I like that. To me, I think another problem that happened with Zoe Stark, yeah, she has been injured, but also whenever they picked up Jordan Grace, those two are kind of similar in my opinion. And except to me, in my opinion, I think Jordan Grace has a lot more skill, and then she got injured, so that's hesitated them, or she just hasn't been on TV in a couple of weeks since NXT picked her up from TNA.
I just like to give I love the shout out to Noam Dar. Um, and I always think of him going back because I don't watch as much of the current product with what he's up to nowadays. But I always think of his 205 Live days and like the Cruiserweight Classic. And just looking back at that era, like God damn it, we were so spoiled. You look at the amount of talent that was in that Cruiserweight Classic
Mm-hmm.
Championship, and like just love the shout out to Noam Dar. Overall, I love the faction. I love the premise. To me, this is what Retribution really should have been. The guys that are underappreciated, like underutilized, and actually like giving them something to do. So I love that as like a storyline and an angle for them to go with.
Absolutely. Actually, I like
To
Noam
me,
Dar
and
in
that's what's
205
funny.
Live and NXT UK.
Mhm.
And see, that's weird because for me, most of my exposure to Noam Dar was actually in NXT whenever he was defending the Heritage Cup. And, to me, that, yeah, he's a great wrestler. So it's definitely a great pick to have, in the faction. And the last time that I think that he had made an appearance on NXT was whenever I forget the faction he was in on NXT, but he had told him, hey, I've got to go away for a while, I'll be back. And because he was injured. And that's the last we saw him probably 3 or 4 months ago.
I did think about having a fifth one. I did think about having Pete Dunne in here because I love Pete Dunne. I don't care what anybody says. He is not the Americano. That his style and his body is just so different, in my opinion, at least, that I don't think he's actually the blue one. Obviously, Tyler Bate is Rayo or however you say it. But I digress.
I think it is funny that none of us picked a manager for the factions.
Valid.
True.
And
Timmy
it is,
Thatcher kind of is manager-ish for my faction, but yeah, none of us have like a straight up. This is just a talking piece for the group.
Yeah.
yeah, if I would throw a manager like that as the talking piece, I think I would probably go with Lana, even though she's American as well. She did play the, Russian,
Oh yeah, CJ Perry would be good.
persona.
Although for me, her and Maxine Dupree are pretty much the same person to me. At least the same gimmick.
Holy
Well,
crap, you're
but
right.
that's the thing. They are, but Maxine, you at that point you would just have CJ Perry as like their um, you know, uh embassy associate or something like that, to where she wouldn't have a wrestling role, but she would be more of like the, making sure everything goes as planned and making
Yeah.
sure there's certain stipulations thrown into contracts and, you know, play more of that piece and vocal piece.
Yeah.
Can I still William Regal to be my manager?
I feel like Regal works.
Feels like cheating.
I feel like Regal works. I mean,
Yeah, well, and
except
so
Dempsey
I do
isn't the
like the
leader.
fact that they're creating and yeah, I do like the faction that's created in NXT that's made up of the former wrestlers' kids with um Charlie Dempsey and Adriana Rizzo, which is Santino's daughter, um, Lexus King, which was Brian Pillman's son, and I forget who the Fit Finley's son. I don't remember his name, but to me, he looks so much like Aaron Solo. I don't know if they're the same person or not. I didn't do any research on it, but Aaron Solo and Fit Finley's son, not David because he's in AEW, but the younger son. I don't remember his name.
So, if I had to go with a manager for the Forgotten, I think I would go with Big E because he can get you hyped, whether it be hyped for a face or hyped for a heel. Big E can get you hyped for anything and anyone. And I, I mean, like I said, Apollo Crews does have the charisma, but he's more known for his athleticism.
See, for years I was thinking either more Paul Ellering or Arn Anderson.
I did think Paul too. I did not think of Arn somehow. Maybe it's because he's not one of those who have been forgotten. I was also thinking of Jason Jordan, but he didn't really
Well, he has,
have the talking ability either.
You'd have Jason
and
Jordan
that's
go up
Kurt
there and be
Angle's
like,
son.
"Oh, this is why they're the Forgotten." Also, Uriah Connors is Fit Finley's kid.
Yes, Uriah Connors. That's right.
So we got some great factions all around, some horrible trades, and some good actors.
Some horrible lag. Girls' videos keep on freezing up.
I mean,
Mine looks great on my end.
yeah, it looks good on me.
Well, you were stuck like this a few minutes ago. It's pretty funny. You were like, you'll see it when you watch the video.
Oh no, I was just sitting like that. There was no lag. I was just seeing how long I could hold it.
I think RoCkstar has had the most lag in this video, but comment down below. What are your answers? Share with a friend if you think they want to see what the three of us have to say about these things. Next week, we probably won't do a talk show, but I will definitely be recording a video. And subscribe if you want to see more. Subscribe to RoCkstar, even though he hasn't posted a video in 17 years. And we'll see you in the next one.